Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time hanging out with me here. Today, we are going to be talking about some of my hot takes or very early first impressions on some upcoming tarot and oracle decks. If you're new to this series, this is basically a video I like to make monthly where I talk about upcoming tarot and oracle decks. These are new releases that are currently in pre-order status and set to drop in the next month or so. And so I like to talk about decks that are currently funding on Kickstarter. Okay, those ones you might not get pretty soon because Kickstarters can take a while. But then I also like to talk about open pre-orders for independent decks or indie decks, as well as mass market decks, things you can get on Amazon or Book Depository or your local metaphysical store. So these are decks that you guys have specifically requested that I cover. So I typically build this list from decks you request in my community tab. So I put up a post, ask y'all what you're interested in hearing about, you guys weigh in, and then I create my list. And we're going to get into it right now, starting with Kickstarter decks. Shaking things up this month, starting with Kickstarter. I usually leave these till the end, but I just felt like starting with Kickstarter this time. I have a shorter list than usual this month, and I think it's just because we're in this in-between time between sort of winter and spring releases. We're sort of in that, I don't know, is there a shoulder season for deck releases? I kind of feel like that's where we're at. The first one on my list is the Tarot of Aphrodite. First glance, this is really pretty. I have to admit, the pink just draws me right in. But let's take a closer look. This is immediately giving me Tarot of Delphi vibes, even though they're completely different. I also have a bit of a soft spot in my heart specifically for Aphrodite related things. There's a little story there. Aphrodite was the first sort of goddess that I worked with in a personified deity kind of way, so I feel like I have a connection there. So this one is legitimately tempting me. You do have, by the way, until Sunday, March 19th at 4:45 a.m. Pacific time to back this one if you're interested, and you have lots of time. The campaign's going to be open for a bit yet. The 30 days to go you see here is based on when I'm filming this, not when you're seeing it, but subtract a few days, that's about where you're at. This is a deck created in Berlin, Germany, it looks like, which is cool. So let's find some pictures. I would like pictures, please. Specifically seems to be focused on Aphrodite. Okay, so we have the star, the moon, and the sun, which are all beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm living for these images. The ones up top, Aphrodite, the sun, and the lovers. So that's a few cards. I hope there's some examples of I can't talk. I hope there's some examples of minor arcana cards as I continue to scroll. It looks like the images that were used are public domain, so that's cool. Then there's also some renaming. So the Fool is renamed the Birth, the Magician is renamed the Witch, the High Priestess is renamed the Seer, the Empress, of course, is renamed Aphrodite and is represented by Venus. It says in normal tarot, but yes, traditionally the Empress is represented by, or is connected to Venus. The Emperor is renamed Aries, of course, that's representative of the sign Aries. And the Wheel of Fortune is renamed the Fates. Hanged Man is renamed Stillness. Okay, so I like the renamings. Those are nice. It says that the creator wanted to maintain the integrity of traditional tarot, so really tried to make thoughtful associations here, which I like. I'm really loving all of these images. I really like the Aphrodite vibes. I feel like this could be a really good deck for sort of romance, but I'm not clear. Is this a full 78 card deck? Oh no, it said 79 at the top, right? There's Death. These are really beautiful images. Look at this Three of Swords. Look at, oh wait, no, I scrolled away from it by mistake. Look at it. She's very thoughtfully censored out the boobies, which is probably good for most viewers, but yeah, that's funny. Three of Cups, that's really a sweet image. I'm not gonna lie, I really dig this. I dig the pink borders, even though they're kind of giant, which I imagine some of that might be if they are common, if they're like, what do you call it, public domain images. The big borders might be because they need to have a smaller central image. I'm not sure. Somebody who's made a deck out of public domain images, please feel free to weigh in. I don't know. Maybe you can't always get them in really high resolution, so that might be an issue. I can't say I'm mad at the pink borders for an Aphrodite deck, though. I'm really liking these examples of the cards so far. Sticking with traditional wands, cups, swords, and coins. There's a note here on diversity. What does it say? Unfortunately, in the earlier art epochs, only Caucasian people were mostly seen in art. Very true. I found a few artists who have also painted Indigenous women, but unfortunately those paintings were not yet in the public domain. So she talks a little bit about her feelings on that, which is great. It's good that she addresses it. I think these look really beautiful. 350 GSM white core paper, so thick but nothing fancy, like decent thickness, I should say. And there's also going to be a prayer card. Oh, and a pink satin bag. I mean, I really kind of like this, but I wonder if this would compete with my Tarot of Delphi, but this is so beautiful and like very delicate and like fluid feeling, which I really like. I kind of also dig the backs, but that image looks really familiar. I'm not, somebody will probably know watching this video, but that image looks really familiar. And it looks like it's done. It looks like it's done, question mark. It's got a sweet Aphrodite prayer card. This is really catching my, this is low-key, this is tempting. I say low-key, but is it really low? Oh, I'm not logged in. I'll have to save it later. Because I definitely want to keep an eye on this one for sure. Oh wait, what's the pricing? Let's just see. Maybe that'll make it easier for me to walk away. Let's see. Oh, one deck. Wait a minute. 44 euro is actually pretty reasonable, I think. So that's 64 Canadian plus shipping. That's actually really reasonable. Is this funded? I need to know. I have questions. I'm not going to back it in the middle of this video. I try really hard not to do that so much. Oh, it had a really low funding goal. Interesting. So it's met its funding goal, so it will happen, hopefully. I need to dig into this creator a little bit more because I don't know if I know this person. It looks like, oh, they've created 3 other decks. So this is kind of a fun thing you can do. If you're new to Kickstarter and you're not sure if you want to take the plunge, one good thing you can do is go into, click their account, and it'll say what they've created in the past. You can click that, and then you can actually see what other decks they've put out there in case you have any concerns. So I've actually done this in the past and found that something that was on Kickstarter was made by a creator who had a lot of complaints on previous campaigns. It is something to look out for. If they're not addressing those things on the current campaign, you want to definitely keep an eye out. This person has created 2 other decks, and it looks like both of them were funded. So let's just take a look at this Musings of Aphrodite. This was only had 15 backers, but it met its goal. And let's just see if there's any bad comments. I don't see any bad comments. And there's a few updates. Cards are here. Decks are shipped to backers. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything that's raising any red flags. This one's definitely staying on my under consideration list. I'm going to just keep the tab open and I will log into my Kickstarter after I'm done filming this video and click the remind me on it. I'm still not going to back immediately because I've got time. There's no rush. It's all good. I'm not going to like plunge in head first without thinking about it first, but very pretty. I have some thoughts and feelings about the Change Tarot. So let's just get a few obvious things up out of the way. First thing, this is a deck created with AI art. That's a very contentious topic right now in the community, and I'm still figuring out how I feel about it. I've kind of been a little all over the place with my feelings, from absolutely no way, I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, to still not personally necessarily wanting to buy it, but also trying to be open-minded about where this tool could be going as far as a potential art medium for people in the future. But where I'm standing at it right now is I'm not personally feeling super comfortable with it. And that's just something that I'm open to and willing to see evolve over time. But for right this minute, I'm not comfortable with it as a medium. But I'm going to give it some time and see how it changes. That being said, this deck looks beautifully done. It is an I Ching deck though. Some of you may have already heard some of my thoughts on this because I mentioned it, brought it up actually in the last 3 Fat Readers live stream. If you do not follow 3 Fat Readers, I have a link to it down below. That is actually a super fun collab channel I share with my friends Danny of Danny Mystic and Dustin of Modern Metaphysicae. We're all 3 people with individual YouTube channels about tarot and oracle, and we all have very different aesthetics and tastes and opinions, and we have some lively discussions and sometimes debates on our collab channel. We do a live stream once a month. Check it out. The last one that we did was all about traditional tarot systems and decks that don't follow them, basically. And I brought this up as an example of something that isn't just taking tarot as a system and playing with it a little bit, but actually doing something completely different and just calling itself tarot. So to me, this does create confusion, and it does worry me for people new to tarot who might not understand that this is not a tarot deck. It has no connection whatsoever to the tarot system. So those are my feelings about that, of which I had many. But in my opinion, this is something that I think is, if you're looking for an I Ching deck and you like this art and it's calling to you, then absolutely check it out. It's funded, well funded, and you have actually, do you have tons of time? You still have a bit of time for sure to back this. At the time I'm filming, you have 18 days, but I think I'm filming almost a week in advance. So you've got quite a bit of time still to check it out if this is up your street. It's just not currently up mine. Plus, I have a Tao Oracle, which I absolutely love the Tao Oracle, and it is currently my go-to I Ching deck. But yeah, I just wanted to rant a little bit about the whole, if you're not actually tarot, I think the language should be more clear. But anyway, moving along. The 1111 Oracle. So this one was requested several times over, and this is actually a Oracle deck currently funding on Kickstarter. You should have a few more days to back this at the time you're watching this video, but this creator, Mandy Peterson, actually created a deck that I used and loved the heck out of for a long time called the Healers of the Earth. Here it is right here. She created this deck. This is a beautiful Oracle deck. If you can still get your hands on this and you like the art style, check it out. I used it like crazy for a long time. Solid system of Oracle, great keywords, great images. Anyway, so bringing it back to the 1111 Oracle, this looks really interesting. It's round, which is always fun, and it looks like there's different messages or like sort of key phrases based on how the cards will turn as you're working with them. So as you shuffle round decks, they kind of flip around all sorts of ways. So it's not just like upright and reversed, it's also sometimes sideways this direction or sideways that direction. So I think it's really fun what she's done here to... And I'm actually really impressed because just in this image, I can see somebody in a wheelchair. I can definitely see some racial diversity immediately visible, which is super awesome actually. And a wide variety of colors. It's bright. I don't think for me, the theme of this deck is up my alley, but I think this looks really well executed. So that's exciting. There's 77 cards, which is a really good amount for an Oracle. And this seems to kind of be all sort of themed around angel numbers. So when you see 1111 a lot, or you see other numbers like 222, 333, and so she talks about that. So this has a bit of like a fun sort of psychic vibe or vibe around synchronicity. So it feels almost like she could have called it the Synchronicity Oracle. It's got a lot of that kind of vibe to it, which is really fun. I think if you do client readings, this kind of thing could actually be really useful because I feel like a lot of people start to notice these synchronicities and really want to know what they mean. If you notice those in your life a lot and you really want a tool to go to kind of see what's going on, this could be kind of fun to do that with. I think the artwork looks really pretty and I think the system looks solid and I have no complaints. It's not something I think I would reach for, but it looks really, really cool. So I would check it out. Check it out. It's funded! Yay! Okay, so next up, sorry, I'm all excited for Levi, but this is the Arcane Warrior Tarot deck. This is by our very own Levi of Masculine Intuition Readings. He recently did the Brother to Brother Oracle, which I actually remembered to go grab so I could show you. And this is really lovely production quality. He did a great job. The guidebook's print is a little bit uncomfortably small. For me personally on the Oracle deck, that would be my only complaint. But it's nicely produced square. This is the Oracle deck, not the deck that's on Kickstarter, but I just wanted to show it to get it and give an example. It's beautifully gilded. And the cardstock's lovely. And this is all hand drawn by Levi. And I'm assuming hand colored as well by Levi. So anyways, so Levi has created this Brother to Brother Oracle deck. I think this is a great little Oracle deck and I have pulled it for clients a few times and really enjoyed working with it that way. I think it's great that this exists in the world. It's pretty exciting to have something that's got that sort of soft pastel look. It's got crystals and like I was going to say unicorns, but there may only be one. There's definitely at least one Pegasi and one unicorn in the Oracle. Anyway, I love that we're seeing that stuff and also seeing that male representation. I think that's kind of cool. So this is the Arcane Warrior Tarot. It has the same vibe as the Brother to Brother Oracle. So if you see that or you own that and you like that, then you definitely want to check this one out. I did notice, I believe, when I saw some images on Instagram, I think there may be some repeated images between the tarot and the Oracle. At least one, the unicorn one, jumped out at me. But a lot of these I don't recognize from Brother to Brother. So I would assume most of this is original artwork. This one, the Chariot. I think the Chariot is the same. There's a card in the Oracle. Yeah, here it is. It's the Remember card from the Oracle. So I remember this one because it's got a unicorn on it. But this looks like the same artwork as what's on the Chariot. Only in the Chariot, the background has changed. So that's something to be aware of. That is something that I have had before, tarot and oracle deck that have some artwork that's the same. The one that's coming to mind is ones by Blue Angel. I want to say Tony Carmine Salerno oracle decks. I had a Tony Carmine Salerno oracle deck, and then I also had the Tarot of Light, which used to be called the Art of Love Tarot. And that tarot and the Blue Angel or the Tony Carmine Salerno oracle deck that I had, they had some images that were the same. And for me, that ended up being a bit of an issue because I would associate one way and then the other one would come up and it wouldn't be the same association. That could just be a weird me thing. That would be my only thing that's sort of I'm hesitating over with this deck. But from what I can tell scrolling through the images, most of them, especially the minor arcana, most of them are brand spanking new. So there's probably one or two that you're going to see overlapping, if maybe even just the one. So it's probably not going to be a big issue. I think that Levi's got a really unique artistic take, and I love that he's putting his work out there and it's being well received. So at the time I'm filming this, there's 9 days, but at the time you're watching this, you only have a few more days left if you want to back this. It has already reached its funding goal, which means that the deck will definitely be happening. So you have a couple more days to get in on the action. I will have links to everything, of course, down below. So check it out if you're interested. Congrats, Levi, on the deck and on getting funded. That's amazing. And I can't wait to see people's walkthroughs when they come out. Let's move on to the next one. The Rustic Fortune Tarot deck. Okay, so this is another one that's bumping up right up against its deadline. So I'm filming it with 7 days to go, but by the time you see it, there will only be a couple days left. You have until Friday, February 24th at 4:54 a.m. Pacific time to back it. It's well over its funding goal, so the deck is definitely happening. So this looks like it's all based, yeah, retro ads. It's a tarot deck featuring retro ads for everyday divination. This is kind of fun. So it says, before the invention of neon signs, vintage tin signs were the most popular form of advertising. These signs, often made of tin or metal, were used to advertise products since the late 19th century. They were a cheap and effective way to get a message out to the public. They were often decorated with detailed illustrations and often used to advertise products such as cigarettes, candy, and soda. Today, the popularity of vintage tin signs is due to the nostalgia they evoke. People are often drawn to the vintage look and feel of these signs and the memories they recall. So, of course, the rust is, a tin sign is going to rust over time. So there's a bit of rust in all of us. That's kind of cute. So let's take a look at the cards. Okay, this is kind of fun. Okay, so the devil is barbecue restaurant ad. The sun is a tropical bar ad. The world is this rocket taking off into outer space ad. Wait, what's the gone fishing one? Is that the Nine of Cups? Or is that the Hermit? I think that's the Hermit. Gone fishing, catch you later. Oh my God, this is actually really clever. This is actually really clever. This is not my normal thing at all, by any stretch. I'm sorry, the Emperor is the bakery. Oh, the Empress is the eggs, of course. Oh my God, this is actually pretty great. The Fool is the toys from $0. That's awesome. The Magician. This is really clever. I should not be liking this as much as I'm liking it. The Notary Office is Justice. That makes so much sense. Oh my God. 13 is deep in rock with a skull on the guitar. Are these original or are these? I'm so curious. Does it say? Here are the symbols of the tarot. Yeah. Signs of everyday life are beautifully merged in a deck of 80 cards. Each card is heavily rusted and scratched in Photoshop to deliver you the most authentic look of an aged tin sign. Okay. Oh, added an extra High Priestess card and a Fortune Teller card? Oh my God, look at that. Card 22 is the Fortune Teller. I'm kind of digging this. I should not be digging this. This is not my normal aesthetic at all, but I really like the look of this. So wands are pleasure. Pentacles are meals. That makes so much sense that it's food. This is amazing. I'm really excited about this all of a sudden. Cups are drinks, which is perfect. Swords are tools. Oh my God. I did not expect. When somebody's like, oh, this one, and I put it on the list, and I saw like the very first image of it, I was like, nah, that's not going to be for me. But I really kind of like it. I think it's kind of fun. I think this would be a cool one to like pull out and play with and also like kind of bring you back in time without just being all vintage photographs. That could be really fun. I don't know. This is fun and it's funded. And I think it's an Australian creator. I'm pretty sure because it's Australian dollars. And the benefit to me when it's Australian dollars is that usually their dollar is very close to Canadian dollars. Shipping might be pricey. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I'm going to keep this one pinned because that's exciting. The time has come to talk about indie decks, and the first one that was suggested to me was the Death Doula Oracle cards. I have seen these around YouTube, so this is a new printing. This deck is not brand new. It's been out before, but there's a new printing currently in pre-order that is set to ship mid-March, so there's some time to get in on this particular pre-order. I have to admit, I don't get this deck. I've seen it on YouTube. There's a part of me that's like, is this one of those decks that like the cool kids get and I don't get? Like, as in understand. I don't know that I understand it. Like, I like the keywords when I've seen them. So let's show some examples here. So here, oh, that image is really giant. I can't make it smaller. Okay, so there's the box. So it's like yellows and oranges and it says formlessness. And I'm like, okay, formlessness for kind of a blurry gradient image sort of makes sense. And then there's others. So here's one. This one says the void. And this one with its scattered bits of flowers for the void does make sense. There's got to be more. Yeah, here's another one. Wisdom. And this one, this is where I sort of lose the plot. I don't know what I'm looking at. I could kind of get it with the void, but all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know what that image is of. It just kind of looks a little chaotic to me. I don't know what I'm looking at, and it's wisdom. And here's another one. And this one looks kind of similar to the void, except there's this splash of red, or is that a glimpse of like a naked person? I don't know. And this one says remothering, which I love that keyword, but I'm just not sure I'm connecting it to the image. And they're all kind of like that. I went and looked at other images. Yeah, here's another one, conjure. And I'm like, I don't get it. I feel like maybe you need to be artsier than me to understand this deck, but I've heard nothing but positive praise. Here's another gradient one, and this one says pleasure. And then there's some trees reflected, kind of, I think, branches, and this one says true will. And these images are really interesting to look at to me. Like, it's not like they look like bad images. This doesn't look like it was hastily thrown together or anything like that. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So for me, this is like one of those things where I'm like, cool, but just probably not for me. I just want to show you guys some more images. Regeneration. This one really threw me. This one says visual mantra, and this looks like an error image to me. But look at it, even looks like there's like some gold foiling in the borders. It could just be the lighting on the image, but it looks like there's some gold foiling around this like thin border here. That looks really pretty. But I don't get this visual mantra, and there's nothing there. There's this like kind of blurry spot here. It almost looks like it could be like a rearview mirror maybe or something. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. I don't know. I don't know. If somebody knows or gets it, I would love for you to share some thoughts on this deck down below, because this deck does get a lot of love. And so I feel like there's something I'm just missing. But this isn't one that's calling to me, because I clearly don't understand it. So it does say in here that the guidebook looks like it's pretty chunky, and it talks about each card having a prompt and an exercise, or a ritual or something. I think that's great. I love when Oracle decks give us things to do or add extra practices in. I think that's a neat thing to work in. Anyways, all this to say, this looks really beautifully produced. Like, the production value looks nice, good box, good gilding, like all that kind of stuff. I just don't get it. So yeah. Check it out if it's your thing, though. I don't know if I'm tempted by this or not. This is the Bohemian fortune telling cards. This is by Baba Studio. It's in pre-order status right now. At the time I'm filming, it's on sale, down to $79 US, which is still very pricey. But Baba Studio's decks do tend to be pricier. It comes in a wooden box that looks to me, I don't know, but it looks like it's a slide top box. Like, there's a little finger dimple and you slide the top open and then drop your cards in. But this is a fortune-telling deck, which I'm assuming is meant to be similar to kind of a Lenormand style deck. It looks really pretty. I don't know if it would feel like just learning a whole new system. It says that there's 36 cards, which, I'm sorry, but $79 for 36 cards is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Because by the time that converts to Canadian, and you add the shipping, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Anyways, the cards included are hope, fortune, fidelity, sorrow, desire, sweetheart, lover, jealousy, thief, child, letter, enemy, constancy, soldier, death, judge, money, house, lady, merriment, misfortune, falsehood, thoughts, journey, illness, unexpected joy. I don't think it's unexpected joy. I think it's unexpected and then joy, or maybe it is unexpected joy. Then it's gift, lord, marriage, inconstancy, temptation, love, gossip, visit, loss, and happiness. There's also two alternate falsehood cards. So it looks like this is based on the original Gypsy fortune-telling cards, but they've just renamed the system out of respect, because that word has not got good connotations these days, which is good for them to have done. So that's great. But the system itself, as far as I know, is still widely used. So that's really great. I don't think I'm in the space where I want to take on learning a new system at the moment. So for me, this isn't super, super tempting, but I think it's really beautiful. And I know that there are people who are really into this particular divination system. It's a cartomantic system, much like Lenormand is, or Kipper, but it's its own thing. the foiling on it looks really beautiful, but it does look like the kind of foiling like the Victorian Romantic had, which I found almost too much and a little distracting. So I think that would probably be a deal breaker for me anyways. I would be curious to hear from any of you guys who are already working with the system or who are excited about this deck in the comments below so that we know kind of, does it look like a good version? I wouldn't know enough to comment on that part of it, but it does look really beautiful, and you do have some time left, I think, to pre-order this because the decks aren't due to ship until April. So you have a little bit more time. I don't know if they'll close pre-orders at any point, but you do have a bit more time to pre-order it. Let's talk about Krista at Crochet Witch Wears. Her Cottage Witch Oracle is up for pre-order again. Let's look at that one. There's also an expansion pack for it, so we'll take a look at that too. This was fully designed and created by Krista, which is great, and she did a small print run, and I think that now she's doing another small print run to restock, so there's an option to get in on the pre-order for this. I love the backings on these. This is the kind of thing, I do like that what she's done here is she's got like an animal or a plant or some sort of like cottage witch aesthetic sort of thing on the card. And then she names what the thing is and then gives a keyword. So that makes it a really usable deck. I appreciate that because a lot of decks like this, they just have the name of whatever it is that's on the card and they don't have any keyword or anything to kind of go off of. I think these are really cute, and I think the way she designed them is adorable. I love the like sort of parchmenty look to it, and there's a you can add on a crocheted bag by Krista. That's so sweet. Look at this. This is the cutest thing. Anyway, so that looks really great. And then she also has now an expansion pack for it, and it's 27 more cards. Should I get Peggy in here to talk about expansion packs? If you know, you know. Anyways, this is great. So she's added some more. So if you want an even chunkier deck. So wait, how many are in the base deck? Does it say? How many cards? How many cards? So there's 54 in the base deck, and then another 27, I can't math, is 80 plus. 80 something. I'm not going to try to do math in my head right now, but that's great. So you can have quite a chunky deck. I do think it's great she's expanded the system because I've heard really positive things about this deck, and yeah, good for you, Krista. That's awesome. I'm so glad she's already on her second print run. Amazing. It's time to talk mass market, and we're going to kick this off with Folklore Tarot. This is by Rowan Ortons. Now, I cannot find this on Amazon or Book Depository at this point. US Games has been getting a little harder to get here in Canada if you don't find it at a local metaphysical store or a local bookstore. So I've been getting US Games decks recently on either Amazon US or I've been getting them out of Book Depository. But again, I can't find this on either. So I will have a link. If I can find it by the time I get this video up, I will have a link down below. Otherwise, you might have to get it from US Games Direct, or if you're outside of the US, I'm not sure. I really don't love the giant red banner that reminds us that they're only shipping within the US, which is so frustrating. But it is what it is. I understand. Like, I don't know that they've ever shipped to direct to retail customers outside of the US, but maybe they have. So let's take a look at these images. I think this is a Pipish deck. It looks a little bit more minimalist. It's got this sort of pinky blue. Is that the only color? No, it's got this gradient color aesthetic. So this is the cups. Can I make these images? I want to open up the image, but I can't. I can only zoom in on parts of it. So I guess we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. So let's see if I can bring this. Nope. There are limits on what I can do here. So I'll have to adjust in editing, but that's about as much as I can do there. So that's the, what was that? That was the Three of Cups. Here's the Knight of Cups. It's kind of hippocampus-y. We have the Seven of Pentacles. This is pretty. It's minimalist, but it's pretty. It says it's inspired by rich mythological traditions and presents deep universal truths about the nature of our world. Though originating from diverse cultures, the stories of myth and legend share common themes, pathways, and archetypes. Agree. This is pretty. I don't think this is anything I'm chomping at the bit to snap up because minimalist decks are hit or miss for me, and this one doesn't look like it'd be a hit, but it's really pretty. I think US Games has been doing some really interesting things with their decks lately, and I've been definitely keeping an eye on what they've been putting out there, but this is lovely. I do like the black backings. That Magician is pretty glorious. That's really beautiful. I should show that to Peggy. That'd make an amazing tattoo. Anyways, in general, beautiful. That's the backing, which is really gorgeous. It's pretty. It's like aesthetically pretty. I don't think it's something I would like be reaching for a lot in my collection, so I don't think I'm going to snap it up, but it is pretty. So along the same sort of theme, there's this other deck that's coming out. This is the Tarot of Tales. Now this is coming out by Chico Books, I think, or Chico Books. I don't know how you say that. their decks have a tendency to have a fully scenic style major arcana and then very, very pippish minor arcana. I'm pretty sure this is the same publisher who did the Elemental Power Tarot, and there's a few others that come to mind. But I have to admit, this looks really lovely. I'm a little sad, actually, because it looks really lovely, but I'm suspicious that the minors are probably going to be pippish. I do like this here. So in the guidebook, you have some keywords for the card. Then you have in the past, at present, on the horizon, from above, and deep within as ways to look at the card. Hey, as ways to look at the card. So I think that's really neat. But we don't really get... It's kind of telling that in the contents you have individual page numbers listed for the majors, and then you just have... Well, this is actually very telling. So the minor arcana... From the Suit of Cups to the Suit of Swords, there's only 16 cards, 16 pages. So, well, that's about a page per card. So that doesn't really tell us much. I'm just suspicious that it's going to be pippish. That's my thing. Let's scroll down and see if there's more images. The backs look really pretty, though. There's no more images. Ugh, I hate when they don't give us more. Oh, wait, sometimes if you click look inside. Oh, the guidebook cover's pretty. See if we can get a glean. Aha! Look at this. So there's our aces. See, clicking look inside can be a really good way to get some extra peeks. Those are really pretty cards. Okay, let's see if we can figure out. Okay, wait a minute now. That's the Five of Swords, and that's a storm. Okay, hold on. Oh, look at Temperance is a unicorn. I should not have opened this up. There's a Seven of Coins, and that is not pips. Oh no. Okay, what does this say? Oh, Tarot of Tales is written and designed to invite you into the world of your personal story. Okay, hold on. I'm about to get excited. I'm about to do a 180 right now. For each card, you will find a brief overview of the card and 5 possible card interpretations or meanings written in narrative form, parts of your story waiting to be linked together. Simply follow the spreads and string together the pieces of narrative that correspond to the positions to read the story of your chosen topic or situation. I'm buying this. 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 That's what's happening. I'm going to buy this because the thing is, I am really, I get really excited about tarot and story. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this. This is the Queen of Cups. This is happening. I'm all in. Okay, just scratch everything I already said. This is why we do these hot takes, because I really don't know until I dig in. Yep. Why is this not on the very front page part? I don't know. Okay, I'm also very excited about this one. So this is the Squid Cake Marseille. Okay, so this was an indie deck, and it's now coming out independent by Rockpool, which is exciting. I was a little nervous it was going to be Hay House, because me and Hay House cardstock, we have not been getting along. But Rockpool and I, we're still doing okay. We're still doing all right. But this is coming out Rockpool. This is very exciting because it is a modern, fun-toned, fun-colored Marseille deck. If you have not seen this, it's freaking adorable, and it looks like it's coming out in like a pocket-like size, which I think the original was also a pocket size. I freaking dig that this is like modern, but it follows the Marseille tradition as far as how the cards are done, which really excites me. And this is what I'm excited about specifically, especially if you're new to Marseille or you want to learn Marseille. Look at the way this guidebook is laid out. So you have the magician, then you have some keywords, and then you have a function, and then it describes the magician in everyday terms, and it describes them in the Marseille tradition, or how you could read it according to the Marseille tradition. At least that's my understanding of this deck from when it was first out, and I was kind of kicking myself that I didn't get it when it was independent. The fact that this is coming out and I can scratch this off my wish list is very exciting to me. Again, love the modern take on it. I love that it makes the Marseille feel a lot more modern and approachable. We don't see a lot of modern versions of Marseille cards. We do see modern reproductions, or like modern decks that still kind of look old-fashioned style. I don't know how else to say that. Kind of like the, I have the Tarot Sirene, which is a mermaid-themed Marseille, but it still feels and looks kind of ornate and traditional. This is completely fresh, and Not to say Tarot Siren is not fresh. I'm not dogging on any other Marseille deck, but I'm just excited that we're seeing this kind of modern reimagining of the Marseille. And that's what excites me about this. So this is definitely something. Is it out now? Excuse me? It's not supposed to be out yet. That's okay. It says March 1st, but it also says add to cart and not pre-order. It says in stock. So that's exciting. This is coming home with me. Now I'm on the US site. Maybe it's not in stock in Canada yet, but this is coming home to me. I want to play with this. I'm going to apologize, except I'm not really sorry, in advance for all of the Buffy talk you are going to hear from me over the next month or so. I don't have this deck yet. It is being shipped currently in Europe, so there are definitely some videos coming out that will show all of the cards if you want to see them, so check that out. Search it up on YouTube. But I have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for this tarot deck. This is an Insight Editions deck. Now, in the past, I have been rather critical of Insight Editions for pumping out these fandom-based decks, so decks based on pop culture references, that seem to have come out really quickly with really, really rushed or rushed feeling minor arcana where they're very pip style. I have heard from Jump that this was going to be fully scenic, so scenic depicted minors. By the way, this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Did I not say that? I mean, it's on the screen, but still. This one is supposed to be fully scenic, and the illustrator, as far as I understand, has done comics, like fan comics, Buffy comics. Anyways, I'm really freaking excited about this. I have been currently rewatching all of Buffy in preparation for this deck to come out. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So there's going to be some videos coming out from me about this deck. There'll be a walkthrough from me about this deck. I'm also planning some other fun content related to Buffy that will be coming out probably throughout March. So keep an eye out. I'm going to be doing things with this, and I'm very excited about it. But anyways, now that you know that my take is absolutely ice cold because I've been looking at this for forever, let's open it up and look at some of the images because there are more available now than there were in the past. And I want to look at them. And I have feelings. So we have the Fool and we see Xander. I think Xander as the Fool is perfection. I love that he's got a spiked bowl. I love that he's got a spiked ball over his shoulder. I think that's amazing. We have Willow as the Magician, and we have Buffy, of course, as the Emperor. Giles as the Hierophant, I think works perfect. Specifically Librarian Giles, like Giles in the library with his books. Amazing. We have the Gentleman for Death. This is such a scary episode of Buffy, but this is beautifully illustrated. It captures them perfectly. They're really super scary. They're perfect for death. Totally get it. Pretty freaking excited about this. The suits are sensibly renamed. So instead of wands, we have stakes. Still wood, still a stake, or still a sharp wooden long, you know what I mean. Pentacles are still pentacles, which makes sense, of course, because we're in sort of a witchy, dark, occult kind of world. Instead of swords, we have scythes, which perfectly makes sense to me. And then instead of cups, we have chalices. Beautiful job with the suit renaming. They've done some weird stuff in the past, like with the Stranger Things one. Some of the things you thought should be one way were a different way, and it was confusing. This one makes perfect sense to me. Spot on. Really happy about that. And then let's see, there's something else. There's going to, of course, be some Buffy related spreads. At least there better be some Buffy related spreads in here. There's already a Nice to Meet You, which this is like a deck introduction. I'm hoping there's also going to be a few themed spreads. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we have the Devil, we have the Star, which is Kendra. We have the Moon, which is Faith. Page of Stakes is Harmony. I am stoked. I am just stoked. So far, very pleased with everything I've seen. Angel is Justice, and you can actually read this to see why Angel is Justice, and it makes so much sense, and I'm just really excited about it. I am primed to like this, no matter how objectively not great it might be. Just fair warning, this is my fandom. I freaking love Buffy. This is my comfort show. When I've gone through some of the darkest crap in my personal life, I have watched Buffy, which, by the way, that's not why I'm watching it now. I'm watching it now because I really want to be prepped for this deck, but I love the backings. I'm excited. I freaking love, okay, so this is just a little hint here. Can we just, okay. The fact that Drusilla is the Empress, I love that because it's not the obvious choice, and I think that really is exciting. Also, I could be wrong. Nope, I'm not wrong, because look at the mask. That is Joyce as Temperance, which also really works. I have feeling, oh my god, Oz? What's Oz? The Hermit? Oh my god, okay, yeah, they're nailing this one. I'm not surprised. I have reasons why I thought that they would do a good job on this, which I will be sharing when I eventually have it in my hot little hands and can talk about it more. But for now, I'm going to try to spare you because you will get plenty of Buffy from me later. Let's talk about the next deck, because clearly, by the way, I've already pre-ordered this. This has been pre-ordered for a while, in case I haven't already admitted this in all of my babblings. I got excited and forgot. whether or not I mentioned it. Anyways, I've pre-ordered it. We're going to move on now, okay? So here's something I don't understand. The creator of the Mystic Mondays, Grace Duong, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your names correctly. I'm very sorry if I've mispronounced it. But the creator of the Mystic Mondays is coming out with a new deck called the Astro Alignment deck. And it actually says a deck and guidebook for celestial connection. This is due out in like a week from when you're seeing it, like 2 weeks from when I'm filming it, roughly. But there's not a single preview image of any of the cards. It says there's going to be illustrations and divine information on 80 astrological signs and phenomena. But there's no sample images. Now, of course, we know if you've seen other Mystic Mondays products, you might have a good idea of the vibe and the aesthetic. And this box cover or book cover, whatever this is, does give us some kind of a vibe. But I would like to see card images, and there's nothing. And I went to the creator's website, there was nothing. And I looked on different publisher sites, there was nothing. There's no look inside, there's no option to see anything. It's a complete surprise. So my personal thinking on this is that I'm not going to pre-order something that is a complete surprise. I would like at least some idea of what I'm getting. Otherwise, I'm just going to wait till it's out and take a look. I will say I'm not overly hunting for an astrological deck, so I don't have a lot of skin in this particular game, but it is sometimes a little frustrating to me to see a deck due out so soon that still doesn't have any marketing images or materials around it. So a missed opportunity there, because I think more people would pre-order this if they could see more about it. If you know of a way for me to go check out more images, or if you've seen something somewhere, I would love to see the images. If you know of anything like that, let me know in the comments. Don't post a link because YouTube will automatically filter those out, but maybe tell me where I can go and look, and I will definitely go check it out. But in general, Mystic Mondays stuff tends to be really vibrant in color, so I always like looking at it. And to date, I haven't bought any Mystic Mondays things, but several things have caught my eye in the past, for sure. Quite a few people actually brought this Oracle deck to my attention, and I'm really excited to talk about it. This is called the Sacred Medicine Oracle, and the creators of this are Ash Frost and Steph Littlebird, and these are both Indigenous creators, which is amazing. So they are the ones creating this deck, all based on Indigenous tradition. Looks like medicine woman. From Indigenous medicine woman and author of You Are the Medicine, Asha Frost. I've heard really good things about Asha Frost and her work, so that's really great. And this Oracle deck actually looks really promising from a structure point of view, because it's not just, I say again, because this is always my same thing that I say that I want, but it doesn't just name the thing that's on the card. It also gives us a keyword, which is amazing. This is one of those decks that I feel like you definitely want to read the guidebooks. You can understand what each of these symbols are, why they're on the card, what their meaning is. But this sounds really lovely. Connect with healing traditions, stories, ancestral wisdom, and animal guidance. So it looks like it's got a good mix of things in the cards. And we can see that here. We have an elder for wisdom, a mosaic for, oh, can I read that? Nope, I can't read that. It's only because it's my eyes combined with the fact that this is a lower resolution image that I'm trying to blow up, but I can't quite see what the mosaic keyword is. But then we have Fire Spark for transform, it looks like, which looks really cool. Jingle Dress for, I think it's miracles? I think it's miracles. I mean, the art on this is absolutely beautiful. Earth Mother for, I think Earth Mother is surrender. That's a beautiful image with the water sort of streaming down her head, turning into the like waterfalls and rivers. It looks like she's literally part of the landscape, which I think is the intention here. We have Fall Equinox Buffalo for release. This just looks really, really lovely. I'm pretty excited to hear more about this. This is really promising. Instead of just throwing a bunch of this stuff in a deck, to actually get an Indigenous creator to create it, this is the direction we need to be going. And I'm really excited to see more about this. If you've already pre-ordered this, drop a comment down below, let us know. Oh, there was a spot, I grabbed a website. Yes. Okay, so this is actually ashafrost.com, because I think we can see some more images over here. Yeah, ancient teachings and healing rituals. This is the same image, so I still can't blow it up to the point that I want to. Yeah, awaken to your inner spark. You are the medicine. Yeah, here we go. So there's strawberry for love, sage stick for cleanse, winter solstice bear for hibernation. I like that there's different equinoxes and solstices in here. This looks really nice. I really want to check this out. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this one for sure. It looks really, really beautiful. That is it, y'all. That is it for my hot takes for February 2023. This was a lot of fun to go through. As always, thank you so much for sending me your requests and your recommendations for decks that I should cover in this series. I try to do the best I can to get to as many of the ones that are the most voted on as possible every month. So definitely make sure you participate in the future when I post the request or call out for suggestions on my community tab. To make sure you don't miss out on those posts, do make sure you're subscribed and you click the bell for all notifications so that you get the little pop-up that lets you know, or the bell or whatever, that, you know, the thingy that lets you know that I have a notification so that you see when I put up that call for requests. I'm walking away from this not entirely unscathed. I do have a short list of 4 things that are very likely going to be coming home with me. The Tarot of Aphrodite is very tempting, as is the Rustic Fortune Tarot. Tarot of Tales and Squid Cake Marseille are almost definitely yeses, so I will keep you posted. If you want to know how that panned out or if I managed to talk myself out of any of those, make sure you check out my next anti-haul where I will weigh in on things I've talked myself out of. I don't do a lot of that in this particular video, although I do try to keep my skeptical face on, my skeptical brain on. I try to not just hit buy on all the things immediately because, you know, that can get overwhelming pretty quick. And I find that I have a certain size, I don't know what this is, I have a certain size of like the amount of collection, of the amount of decks that I want to have readily available at any given time. And it hits a point where it starts to like push at the boundaries of that limit. And I start to get a little itchy, like, I don't know if itchy is the right word, antsy? I don't know. And then I start decluttering things. So I'm trying to kind of keep it in that nice flow where I can bring things into review, send other things back out, like, you know, decide more meaningfully what I want to keep, or more mindfully what I want to keep, what I want to let go of. I do try to, in general, be more mindful of the things that I accumulate, keep, and stay in my collection for that reason, because I like to keep my stuff. I'm looking, if you see me like my eyes roaming, it's because all of my decks hang on the wall. You've probably seen it in my other videos. And so I'm like looking around at my racks going, yeah, this is about right. Like when they start getting too full or things start to kind of spread out or overlap too much, it starts to get a little bit, ugh. So I'm trying to keep from getting there. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me for today's hot takes. I would love to hear what decks you are most excited about from this list in the comments down below. If you have other information about things that I covered, as I said, I just give my hot takes, so these don't have a ton of like research or information behind them. Just drop any additional information that you think would be helpful to other people in the comments so they can find that information. As always, please keep it kind and constructive. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and until then, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye!